Yo, it's Ron Wilkie, your cybersecurity quarterback, and I want to talk to you today about why you, as a small business, need cybersecurity services. This is why you need it. And you're watching this video because you already know, but just in case you do not know, let's go. I'm going to show you. But before I do that, just so you can get in contact with me whenever you need to, Ron Wilkie, Director of Small Business Cybersecurity Services for the National Cyber Risk Agency. So we are concerned about our small businesses and the protection of them from foreign actors, right? So we want to help you be secure. All right, so now let's get into it. How do you become secure? First of all, let's talk about why you need it in certain industries, because what I will tell you is that many industries say they don't need it. We're just a small pizza shop. We don't need cybersecurity. We don't need. Yes, you do. First, you want to protect your clients and their data, their credit card information. So you need to take the proper procedures in place. But we're not going to talk about procedures as much. We're going to talk about industry by industry why you need cybersecurity services. So at some point, I hope I'm on your street. All right. So healthcare, this is number one for me. They are prime targets because of the data that you have. The healthcare clinics, you have tons of personal information, and you have to be compliant with HIPAA, right? So HIPAA states that you have to have certain things in place to protect your clients or your patients' information, their data, right? So your prime targets, healthcare clinics, companies, you need to have cybersecurity to help protect the data of your clients, their personal information. And as you can see here, I'm not going to read the slides that I have created. You can pause and look at them at will, at your own time. But just know that this is number one for me. Healthcare companies, healthcare clinics, family practices, you need cybersecurity services to make sure your data is confidential, the integrity of it is correct, and it's available to you when you need it and your clients. Okay, let's go on. I can talk all day about these things. I'm going to try and keep it moving. Retail and e-commerce. If you're processing credit card information, you need cybersecurity services. You need certain security controls in place in order to protect that data. This is number two. The first one, healthcare, the health industry. Number two, any e-commerce environment, system, business, you need cybersecurity. All right, so let's keep it moving. Financial services. So what are some things that help fortify against fraud? I said I wasn't going to get too far into the weeds of these things, but this is why you come to us, so that we can help you with strong authentication, multi-factor authentication, secure transactions, basically making sure that the data is encrypted in transit, right? When it's moving, you have some type of encryption. When it is at rest, you have some type of encryption on those disks, on those hard drives, those solid state drives, whatever you're using, you have to have some type of encryption at rest as well. So also preventing phishing, regulatory compliance. So I did a video that shows a little bit about preventing phishing. So you can go and look at that video as needed. Legal and consulting companies. Why? Again, personal information, privacy of the information. The messages should be encrypted, right? All of this information should be confidential. It should be, that's the most important thing as it relates to legal services, is that information is encrypted, kept secret, top secret, whatever your classification is. You also should have a classification document so that you can explain why each particular type of document may have a different type of classification. That's something else you need to know about. So if you need any information on any of these things, just let me know. Let's go on to the next one. Education, right? So the school systems, you need to have cybersecurity. You need for the data to be secure. You don't want your students' data readily accessible by anyone who has access to the internet. Also, you don't want to have ransomware enter into your environment and now you don't have access to your own systems and data because it's locked up due to the ransomware. If you're going to have students connect remotely, or even the teachers teach remotely at any point, let's say it's a snow day, then you need remote learning security, right? To make sure that your virtual classroom is secure so that not just anybody can go into those classrooms, but only the students, right? So we're talking about education. Let's go to the manufacturing industry. The same type of thing. So the difference with this one is that you have supply chain attributes. So that supply chain needs to be prioritized to have certain security controls in place to protect the communications of that supply line, right? So you need those safeguards in place to protect that entire process because if you're a manufacturing company, this is how you make money. So you want to protect the assets and the process that contributes to your financial gain. And it's always the three things that you want to protect: the people, processes, and the technology. So in this case, that supply chain is the process that you want to protect. Now, also, you may have Internet of Things devices that are controlling some of your manufacturing processes in your supply chain. You want to protect that as well. So, again, feel free to read these bullets as I've created them, but I'm not going to read them to you. All right, hospitality. Oh, it's a big one. Why? So if you're staying in an Airbnb, if you're staying in a hotel, however you reserved the location, that needs to be secure, right? The Wi-Fi in those locations need to be secure as well. You don't want people being able to go to this hotel and see what's going on in the room next to them, right? So the hospitality, safeguarding guest information, you need cybersecurity. All right, let's keep it moving. Real estate, fraud prevention, email security. You you've heard of different scams that take place in the real estate industry. So some of that comes through phishing, some of that through records, court records, when that information is stolen, whether it's via the emails because someone has been able to get into an email because of poor passwords or just leaving the information out there for anyone to see. That is high priority. High security controls need to be placed around those things. All right. So real estate. So if you have a real estate company, think about getting some more or better cybersecurity protection. Non-profits. The number one thing here, you see it right there. I have it number one. Donor data protection. Do you know that people will kill for a list of donors just so that they can target them, whether for legit or illegitimate reasons? But that donor data, that's why it's number one on my list up here, right? So you also need phishing prevention, and we talk about that with emails, and maybe I'll do another video just on that because that is so big. Secure fundraising, volunteer data security, right? So your volunteers, you don't necessarily want everybody knowing who's volunteering, especially if your nonprofit is one of those that could be controversial, and you have people working, volunteering. They may not, you may not want their, you don't may not want to put them at risk. Okay, let's keep it moving. All right, so if you have a technology startup, you need to protect your intellectual property. Right? You don't want people to be able to go to your servers and see all of your ideas. Um, Cloud security, secure DevOps. If you don't know what that means, it's just operations for developers, right? Cloud security, you're working in the cloud. Now everybody works in the cloud, but is it secure? So the same steps you take to secure your laptop or your server that's in your business, or if it's in your home, you have to take those same priority or same type of steps or security controls in the cloud. The difference is you may not have to worry about whether or not it's in a building, or if you have a fence that's 8 feet tall, or if you have a light over the door, or cameras on both sides of the doors, or you're writing logs for anybody who walks into that location. Yeah, the physical security aspect, you don't have to worry about that as much now, but you have to worry about the same things. Your firewalls. You still have to worry about your access control list. You still have to worry about all of the logs as it relates to who's accessing the system and how you record those things. You still need to worry about antivirus software. Okay? So, yes, technology startups, even though you're innovative and you're ready to build this thing, also build some security into your process. All right, let's keep it moving. I got a lot for you. Media and entertainment. So if you haven't figured it out yet, every industry needs cybersecurity. I mean, even the movie industry, right? And you can see here why. Piracy. You're making a movie or making your own content. You don't want somebody to be able to come in and take that and post it themselves on the internet, right? Email security. Again, I think one of the biggest things is email security, just because of phishing. Because once they get into your email, they can control your company. Why? Because that's part of your multi-factor authentication. So what happens, and I'm sorry, I'm still talking. What happens sometimes is that if someone wants to take your account, they take your email first. So then when they call the bank and the bank says, oh, we're going to send you a verification code to the email that's on file. Well, if they have your email, access to your email, they're going to see that code 0782 that comes through, and then they're going to go and put it in 0782. Now they're in your account. See, that's how this works. That's why email phishing is such a big deal. It is such a big deal. But anyway, digital rights management, protecting intellectual property rights across various digital platforms. So, yep, all of these things are here for a reason. You may think, okay, I'm going to make my own car. Do I need cybersecurity? Yes, you do. Because guess what? Your cars now, they have remote access to them. Yes, they do. So that needs to be secure. Did you know? So I was, I'm always learning. So I got a book on how to hack cars. And do you know, like even the headlights are controlled wirelessly in some cars, wirelessly to the console. So when you hit the button for your lights and they come on, it wasn't wired. It was wireless. So what does that mean? That means your Wi-Fi. So what does that mean? The Wi-Fi has to be secure. It has to be at least WPA2, right? And so now the console, how do you access that? It has an IP address. So now if I'm in the car, I can access this. Anyway, you just need it everywhere. So even the automotive industry needs cybersecurity. For all the other reasons that you saw on the other pages, like intellectual property, right? Accessing the accounts of individuals or the CEO of the company. Not just the car itself, but even the business. Let's go, y'all. Do I need to keep going? Because there are just so many of these. I threw this in here just because, if you're a small business and you're looking to grow, you need to think about these things right here. So number 2, the reason why that one is in here is because I've been getting calls about doing work with the government. So if your small business wants to do work with the government, you have to be CMMC certified, right? Which means you have to do all these things I mentioned. Well, I didn't mention in this video, in some previous video. Actually, I just made a CMMC video today. It may be on this, it's on this website, on this channel. But anyway, there are a lot of things you got to do for that. NIST compliance, adhering to the National Institute of Standards and Technology. That's the baseline. That's the baseline, and also ISO 27001. Anyway, just in case you are ready to grow your company, these are some things you need to look at, and you really need to pay attention to these 4 things. All right, we're almost there. Almost there. I did not mean for this video to be this long. Construction companies, project management, you need secure project management. You don't want anybody changing the dates in the system or changing who's responsible or throwing your timeline off. You need that data also encrypted. Whatever the data is that's around the building of whatever it is you are producing, you have to have some type of encryption of that data, whether it's in transit or at rest, like the contracts, like the blueprints, the confidential documents. So when you DocuSign something, or when you sign something digitally, one of those services, like a DocuSign or something, is what you would need. Keep it moving, y'all. So much to talk about. So much. But I think we're almost finished. You want to protect your client if you are accepting credit card information or if you're getting client data, which is PII, and you want to prevent your company from getting ransomware. So these top three things right here are things to think about for your small business. Last but not least, we talked about supply chain management previously. Again, it's important if you are a business and you're producing something. These are some of the protection schemes that you want to implement. Supply chain security, secure GPS systems, phishing defense. The GPS system, you want to look at that because you don't necessarily want your systems to be tracked by other individuals. Okay? Packages being delivered. You want to be in control of that. You want the person who's getting that to be in control of that, but not just anybody being able to see where your van is going, right? Because there are a lot of now entrepreneurs that are now delivering uh, for bigger companies, right? So I'm talking to you, those companies that are doing that. All right. And I believe this is it. Safeguard your professional services expertise. Again, whatever you're doing, make sure you have data encryption on your systems. Some type of encryption. You have authentication, strong authentication. I believe in two-factor authentication. Make sure it's your fingerprint on your laptop and maybe your password, right? Or something you have. You may have a key card, but you need at least two out of the three. Something you are, something you know, something you have. Three, you need two out of the three. All right. And if you're really talking about something that's really sensitive, you want to look at some strong security communication tools. I think I used Signal at one point, right, because of the encryption, and never had any issues. I had people trying to see what I'm talking about, but you still couldn't see. I'm just tripping out. And this is it. This is showing the need for your small business to use cybersecurity. And I use the word small loosely because there's nothing small about your business. Your business is growing and you're looking forward to growing. That's why you're watching this video, because it's growing and you need to bake cybersecurity within it so that as it grows, your clients can feel safe and you can provide safe services for your clients. And you can keep your business up and running. Remember, the data has to be confidential, the integrity of it has to be correct, and it has to be available. Those three things. All right, I'm Ron Wilkie. I'm sorry this video was so long, and I'm out.